Hey everybody, welcome back to A Better Computer. My name is Matt, and today we're going to do a tier list. We're going to do a tier list of, I just counted them, and unfortunately it is 67 apps on my Mac. We're just going to have to go power through, everybody. It's going to be fine. We're going to do a tier list of a bunch of the apps on my Mac so you can get an idea for what I'm using these days and what I think about them. How many of them are absolutely essential and I feel like are immortal? How many are ripe for being replaced? And just so you know, we're using quicktierlist.com, which is my personal tier list website. It's available in the description. You can use it for free, no ads, super simple to use, and we also have some themes. So we're going to go ahead and use the Retro Arcade one today just for fun. So let's start tiering them out and go very, very quickly so this video isn't an hour long. 1Password. I have tried all the password managers. 1Password is the best. It is really good. It's available on all the platforms. It integrates to the platforms really well, and specifically on the Mac, it has far and away the best Mac experience by a mile, even compared to Apple's Passwords app. It's so good. I really love 1Password. You know what? Screw it. It's S tier. I think it's awesome. I think people are irrationally upset about 1Password. I think it's fantastic. Then we have AeroSpace. I'm going to put AeroSpace in A tier. AeroSpace is an app that implements a tiling system on your Mac. For Windows, it forces you into a tiling system. I did not know I would want this until I used it. It was very crazy and confusing when I first started using it, but I fell in love with it. Video down below with some more details about it. Affinity Studio. This is the newly released, completely free Affinity design and everything studio from Canva, the new owners of the Affinity suite. I think it's a D tier. I appreciate it exists. I recognize that it's very powerful. I really just do not enjoy using any of the Affinity apps. I've never enjoyed using them. They just don't click with me. So D tier for me. Google AntiGravity. This is their code editor that is supposed to kind of compete with stuff like Cursor and do agentic coding. I really find this an unenjoyable app to use. I don't think it's well made. Well, it's finely made, I guess, but like coding with Gemini is just, it's the worst of the models for that, in my opinion. Then we have Aqua Voice, which I would put in the S tier. Aqua Voice is an essential part of my Mac. If I don't have Aqua Voice installed, I feel like my Mac is broken. I dictate so much. I looked at the stats recently. I've dictated over 100,000 words into this app. It's super, super good. It's super high quality, and it's much better than the dictation that's built into Mac OS. It does have a cost to it, which is more than I would like to spend, but it's so valuable to me that I don't know how I can say no. So love Aqua Voice. Arc. Arc, I would say in a previous life, a couple years ago, this was S tier. This was the best app. I loved Arc. Today, I would put it in B tier. I think it's still the best browser for a lot of things and for a lot of people. And if you loved Arc and keep using it, I think it's still pretty decent. But it's falling behind. It's starting to it's just not as good as it once was. I think it's going to keep tumbling down this list. But I think Arc is a uniquely influential piece of software in the Mac world, and I think we'll be talking about it for years to come. Audio Hijack. This is an app that I would put in B tier. I think it is absolutely great. I think it is awesome. I just don't get much out of it. I use it basically to record straight audio from my Mac on the occasion that I have to do that. Most of the stuff I do is into screen recording software or video call software that does that for me, so I don't need this. But whenever I need to record straight audio, Audio Hijack does that very simply, very cleanly. It has lots of advanced features. I just don't use them. Automator. Automator is an app that I would throw in... Oh, this is tough. I think Automator is one of the most underrated apps on the Mac. I think it was really cool. It did shortcut stuff before shortcuts was a thing. I would put it in D tier, though. I don't think there's really much of a reason to use it today, especially in the world where you can generate Apple scripts that do these things much better. There's not a lot of use for it, but I can put it in D tier. I don't think it's bad. I think it deserves some respect. Balena Etcher, I think I got the name right. This is for turning ISOs into bootable drives, or flashing them onto bootable drives in a way that makes them bootable. I'll put this in A tier. I think this does one job. It does it well. It's very simple. It's totally free. Highly recommend this if you need a bootable drive for some sort of disk image. Bartender 6. Bartender, I liked Bartender. I'm going to put it in C tier, or B tier, sorry, right down the middle. I think it's totally fine. I think it's a well-made app. It does the job really well, but there are free alternatives that work. I happen to have paid for it years ago and got like a lifetime license, so I'm not paying for it anymore. So for me, I'll just keep using the thing that I know works. But I think there's free apps that do this as well for what most people need, so I'm going to put it in B tier. It's fine. macOS is adding some of these features as well, but I think it's totally fine. Bezel. Bezel is an app that lets you plug in your iPhone or Mac and mirror the screen to your Mac. I personally use this quite a bit, so I'm going to say it's A tier. I think it's a really well-made app that just works, which is all I can ask for something that fits into my production. Broadcast. Broadcast I'm going to put in B tier. Broadcast is an app that lets you subscribe to internet radio stations and I forget what they're called, but like some podcasts will do this where you can just listen to them live online, and they'll have a feed, and you just paste that into broadcasts, and broadcasts will let you listen live. So I use this to listen to the Accidental Tech podcast live, or the Relay shows live on the occasions that I'm listening to those. Again, also does some internet radio if you're into that sort of thing. I'll put it in B tier. It's well made. It's a good app. It's just not one I rely on. Next up is ChapterPod. This is an app that I made, so I am biased here, but I would say this is S tier. Obviously, my own app, you take this for what you will, but this is for adding chapters to your podcast. I made it because I do that a lot myself, and I needed a better tool for doing that, and I think that does it for me. So I won't say any more. ChapterPod is an awesome app, in my opinion. Next up is ChatGPT Atlas, which is OpenAI's web browser. I'm going to put this in... This is a toughie. I think the browser is really well made, and they're adding features in a smart way. I'm going to give them an A tier. There are plenty of reasons not to give your browsing data to OpenAI. I totally get if you don't want to do that. I don't particularly want to do that either, which is why it's not my default browser. But I got to give them credit. They have made a nice browser built on Chromium, and it has some really nice UI features, and they keep adding to it. So I'll give them props. I think they've made a good browser if you're into it. Claude on the Mac. Claude has Claude normal Claude, Claude Cowork, and Claude Code built into it. I think the Cowork is kind of interesting, and I do use this occasionally. I'm going to get this an A tier. I think this is actually really good. I think they've done a nice job of making this more than just the chat experience in kind of an app wrapper. I think the Cowork stuff works pretty well, so I'm going to put it... I'll put it in B tier, actually. I don't know if I'd give it A tier, but it's certainly more useful on the desktop than like the ChatGPT app, for example. CleanShot X. Again, one that I can't be totally unbiased about. I do work with them when they do a new release and they need a video. I do make videos for them, but genuinely, it's a great app. CleanShot is the absolute best way to take screenshots and simple screen recordings on your Mac. I've made a trillion things on it. If you don't know what CleanShot is, I highly recommend you check it out. It is worth every penny. Yeah. Then we have ChatGPT Codex, which is, again, OpenAI's app. This is for basically their Claude Code competitor. I'm going to put this in B tier. I am not totally sold on it. I don't love it, but it's fine. I'm definitely more of someone who is accustomed to using Claude Code for my coding work, and so I understand how that works. It's predictable. It works how I want, and I kind of, again, I just understand it. It helps me work without holding me back. Codex, I think, is interesting, but it's just, I don't know. I'm just not totally bought into it, but it seems pretty decent. I'm going to keep giving it a shot here and there. Perplexity's Comet browser. I think it's fine. I'm going to give it C tier. I don't think it's actively bad, but it's just kind of, it feels more like just a simple Chrome skin in lots of ways. It does have its agent mode, which is of dubious value, I think. I do think, for what it's worth, something I do want to mention, I think these agent modes that will use the website for you could be really compelling for people who are unable to navigate a website for whatever reason, for vision reasons, for mobility reasons. I think that's actually a really powerful thing, but I think the way that they're pitching it is not that, and it is not living up to the things they say it'll do. So I don't love it. Cursor, I'm going to be honest, for me, and this is crazy because a year ago this would have been S tier, for me it's D tier. I honestly could uninstall Cursor and I'd be fine. I use Claude Code via the command line or via the web app. I use Cursor never anymore. So yeah, that's just me. I don't think it's bad. I think they've done a lot of stuff that's cool. I just don't use Cursor anymore. So yeah. Dev Cleaner. Dev Cleaner is A tier for sure. This is an app that just runs on your Mac and every once in a while sends you a reminder that says, hey, do you want me to clear out a lot of the Xcode junk that's accumulated over the last month? And I say, yeah, please do. And so it gets rid of a bunch of code. It saves me tens of gigabytes every month because that stuff just accumulates when you're an iOS developer. So really great. Totally free, open source as well. So really nice. Then we have Dia. This is from the makers of Arc. It is their new web browser that they stopped making Arc to make. And this might be... I'm going to put it in A tier. It's A tier. I think they're actually doing a fantastic job. Effectively, they have remade all of the things that Arc already had. Whatever. How much I like that slowed down their roadmap. Whatever. I can get over that, but at this point, it's basically all the things that made Arc great, and now they're kind of doing some other stuff as well. I think this is a really great browser. I think it's really well made. It's just not my default browser, and so I can't put it in S tier. Ecosia browser. I'm going to put this in C tier. It is the closest thing to a straight Chrome skin possible, just without the Google stuff built in. If you like Chrome but don't like Google, I think Ecosia is a pretty good way to get the Chrome experience without supporting Google directly. It's fine. Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro is awesome. I'm putting it in A tier. It's my favorite way to edit. I do think DaVinci could win me over, but I'm kind of locked in on Final Cut. I know how to work fast there, so unless something goes horribly wrong, or if my version of the app, which is not part of the Creator Studio that Apple just released, if that stops working as well as it does today, or it starts to fall behind on features, this may change things. But yeah. Fission. Fission is a really good app. I'm going to put it in A tier. I use this every single week to convert the MP3 that we use for our podcast, the MP3 that is given to me by Chris Lawley, my co-host. He gives me an MP3 file. I use Fission to convert it to the exact bitrate and format that we use for the show to normalize it. And it works great. It does one job. It does it well. I'm putting it in A tier. Framous. Framous is from a good friend, Charlie Chapman. He basically made this app so you can drag in screenshots and it puts them in device frames. It does what it's supposed to do. I'm going to put it in B tier. I'm going to put it in B tier because it does what it's supposed to do. It's added some features over time, but I do actually often find myself putting the screenshots in the app, exporting it, and then having to use a second app to kind of get the ultimate image that I want. So I'd bump it up if I could do a little bit more in there. Ghosty. Ghosty is an awesome terminal emulator. It is fantastic. It's what I use all the time. Highly customizable, highly performant, and yeah, just awesome. Ghosty is great. Then we have Granola. Granola, I am actually working on them with a sponsored video that may or may not be out by the time you see this, but yeah, Granola is an awesome app for recording meetings and getting better notes out of it. Highly valuable to me. I'm putting it in A tier. Actually might... I don't know. It's A or S tier. I'm going to keep it in A tier right now, but I may think about that. Then we have Helium. Helium is my current default web browser, but I'm still going to put it in A tier. It is, we're actually using it right now, so you can kind of see it. It's basically a privacy-focused AI, zero AI Chromium browser, and it is really nice. It's really quick, really performant, does all the things I needed to do. I'm currently in my boring browser phase. I guess I kind of go through waves where I want the most interesting browser and then I want the most boring browser. For my personal computer, a boring browser is currently working, so I'm using Helium. Then we have IINA, IINA. This is a video player. It's fine. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I use it instead of QuickTime, just because QuickTime occasionally can play videos that doesn't have the codecs for. IINA has all of them. That's it. iStat menus. B tier. This used to be one of my favorite apps, and now it's just fine. I think it's good, not outstanding. I think it's the best in the business of what it does, but I just don't find this information as interesting as I used to. Basically, I have my network traffic up here at all times, so I can see when my connection is being saturated, either upload or download. It can be interesting to see if I'm getting like weird issues. Keyboard Maestro. This is S tier. Keyboard Maestro lets you do all sorts of automations on your Mac. It lets you do timed automations. It lets you control your Mac. Like literally, it does text expansion. All this stuff for a one-time fee. It's awesome. I love this app. LocalSend. LocalSend is a cool app. I'm going to put it in the B tier. This basically gives you AirDrop that works with Android devices. So you get LocalSend on your Android device. When you share a file from there, you select LocalSend, and then if you have LocalSend running on your Mac, your Android device will see the Mac and it can send the file. Also works vice versa. If you have a file on your Mac you want to get on your Android device, you can use LocalSend to send it just like you would AirDrop. Mimestream. Mimestream is currently my default email app on the Mac, and I would put it in, I mean, I gotta be honest, S tier. I'm actually noticing a theme. Blue icons are, my S tier icons are all blue except for Keyboard Maestro, which has no color. Interesting, we'll see if that holds. Mimestream is awesome. It's basically what I wish Apple Mail was. It is a simple email app that is exceptionally fast and has keyboard shortcuts for everything. It is exactly what I want for my email app, and it's really awesome. Then we have Monologue. Monologue is from Every, I think is the company name. I'm actually in a trial of this right now. I would say Aqua Voice is kind of the direct comparison. So if Aqua Voice is what I'm currently using, I would put this in C tier. I think it is pretty functional. It's similar to Aqua Voice in terms of the quality of the text it outputs. I do think Aqua Voice is faster, so it gets the text on screen faster. Monologue is definitely slower at that. And Monologue is part of a very expensive $30 a month subscription that you have to be into. So if you use the other things, then maybe it's a little bit better, but like it's very expensive to use. Notion Calendar. Notion Calendar I'm going to put in A tier. Notion Calendar is awesome. It is currently my default calendar, and it is my default calendar because it is very good, it's very fast, and it's free. And because of that, I'm actually going to move it into S tier. It's great. It is super, super awesome. Yeah, it's just super reliable, super quick, has a really nice UI. It is genuinely my favorite calendar app, and it just so happens to be free, and that's a great combo. Notion Mail. I liked Notion Mail when it came out. It kind of felt like it was giving me a lot of these superhuman features without needing to pay for superhuman. And over time, I've fell a little out of love with it. I don't really use it. I think it's good. It's just not, I don't know, Mimestream just really has me. So I'm going to put it in B tier. Notion I'm going to put in A tier. I think Notion is awesome. I think the Mac app is a little annoying at times. It has some kind of weird behavior, but in general, the value it brings is incredible. So really like it. Nova I'm going to put in D tier. No disrespect to the people over there who make Nova. It is a native Mac text editor, but I do not like it almost at all. Really unfortunate. It's very simple. It has some plugins, but like it's not for me. I'll just say that. Obsidian. Obsidian is S tier. It is free. It is easy to use. It is complicated if you want it to be complicated. It has an enormous community around it. Obsidian is my favorite way to kind of just organize my life. I use it both at home and at work for this. It's incredible. Ollama. I'm going to put Ollama in C tier, mostly because I don't use it a ton. Ollama is the best way to run local models on your Mac, and a lot of apps have integrated so that if you have Ollama installed, they'll integrate to Ollama and use the models that you have installed there. So it does that really well. I just don't find myself using it that often. Yeah, so I would put it in C tier. It's very well done. It's very good. For the most part, I just don't use it a ton, so I'm putting it in C tier. Opera Neon is the worst agentic browser I've ever used, so I'm putting it in D tier. Orion, I do not care about this. I feel like it's a worse Safari. I'm sorry. I don't like Orion either. Apple Passwords, I'm going to put it in C tier. I don't love it. I don't love how it works with other browsers. It does not work well with those other browsers. Yeah, if you're all in on Safari, then maybe it's better. But yeah, it doesn't do the app integration that 1Password does. It doesn't do Chrome and Firefox integrations nearly as well as 1Password does. But yeah, this is like if you're a full-on Apple stan and don't use anything else besides Apple products, then I guess it's good. But as soon as you get out of that bubble, it's kind of really frustrating. Pixelmator Photo, I'm going to put in C tier as well. Pixelmator Photo is kind of Pixelmator's Lightroom alternative. It's for processing a bunch of files that you take on your camera in most cases. And I should love it. I should really like it. I should use it instead of Lightroom. Lightroom is just better, so I'm going to put it in C tier for now. Pixelmator. This is also the pre-Apple Creator Bundle thing. I'm going to put this in A tier. I think it's really awesome this app exists. I think it is as good, if not better, than Photoshop in most ways. There's a few things that Photoshop does that this doesn't, but like I use Pixelmator Pro all the time instead of Photoshop if I at all can. Then we have my second app, and only my second app on this list. I'm going to put it in S tier. Quick Subtitles. Quick Subtitles uses the Apple's on-device model to create subtitles for video files, audio files. Totally fast, totally awesome, runs locally again, and is, yeah, really good. I'm working on 2.0 right now that is going to add some really nice features, so I'm going to put it in S tier, but again, it's my own thing, so I'm going to stop talking about it. And actually, I lied. I do have an app here called Railway Monitor that monitors how much spend I have on my Railway installation. If I actually go up here, you can actually see my month to date is 19 cents in spend. But if that ever starts to spike, I want to know. And so this little app that I made for myself and open sourced, it's on GitHub, link in the description, of course. I'll put this in C tier or B tier, but yeah, I find it very useful. Raycast is S tier. The best app launcher and automation tool on the Mac. You can do so much with this. It's my emoji picker. It's my clipboard history. It is everything. It's really awesome. So Raycast, people have said enough about it. Totally get it. Reader, S tier as well. Reader basically not being supported anymore by the developer, but Reader 5 is still outstanding. It's still my favorite way to consume RSS on the Mac, as well as my iPhone. And yeah, it's great. Love Reader. Riverside. Riverside has an app. This is what we use to record our podcast every week, Comfort Zone. I do not like the desktop app. It is terrible. I use the web interface. Safari. Safari, I think, is a C-tier browser, and here's why. I think people who like Safari use it because they like the UI, they like the performance, and they like the battery life that it gets you. And I would say all of those are things that were true 10 years ago and are no longer true today. Chromium browsers are just as battery efficient. I've done extensive testing on this and have seen this to be the case. It is also just my day-to-day lived experience of just using this browser and other Chromium ones. There's no difference. It is not as performant as Chromium. Chromium is faster at performing tasks. And yeah, in terms of design, have you seen the Tahoe design? Is that really a good design? I don't think so. Then we move into my screen recording apps for these sorts of videos. I'm using this one right now, actually. So this is Screen Studio. And it is, I would say, I'm going to say B tier. I think this one is really good at kind of giving me nice animations here and there, and it has a nice simple interface, but it's a little too simple for me, and often I find I have to do most of the video here and then export it and then finish the video in something else, kind of similar to what I kind of talked about with Framous earlier. Screen Studio, this is A tier. This is an awesome app that lets you just record your screen and then do really advanced editing. It is still the best editor for screen recording stuff. It's really outstanding. Love this app. Slack, honestly, I don't even know if I need this in here. I use it for work. I think it's better than people say, but it's a C tier. Whatever. It's Slack. Supercharge. Supercharge is an awesome S tier app. It's an S tier app. Supercharge does a ton of little things on your Mac to just make it better. As a simple example, I have it so that Option N creates a new file on my computer, and it will just create that file. I can name it whatever I want, and then it will open it in the default app for that file. So I could do like shownotes.md. It'll create a new markdown file. I create it, and it opens up my text editor with it. Another example is when I have a DMG file for a new app that I downloaded. As soon as I open that DMG, Supercharge will notice and will ask me if I'd like to install it, so it'll move it to the applications folder and then eject the DMG for me and delete it. Really awesome little automation there. Apple should actually just steal that. They should do that. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's like literally 100 other things it does. Super great app. Speaking of super, we have Superhuman, which I'm going to put in B tier. It's expensive. It might be a cult, as some people say, but it's a really good email app. But for me, $30 a month isn't, or $40 a month for like all the functionality isn't worth it for me. Swinzian. This is a newer music player that's in the style of old iTunes. I'm going to put this in B tier. I think it's the best I've found. It's probably the best option you have these days if you are using a local MP3 library on your Mac. But it feels a little old. I wouldn't mind kind of a slightly refreshed version of the UI, but it totally works and is good for people who have a local library. The Unarchiver, I'm going to put this in S tier. This is an essential app if you own a Mac. It unarchives any sort of file type. Works great. It's been around forever. Totally free on the Mac App Store. Transmission, I'm going to put it in C tier, which I guess is the tier for apps that I don't think are bad, but are apps that I don't use. Once every 5 years or so, I need to download a torrent for some random thing, and Transmission is always there. It's still around. It's still maintained. And yeah, it's still the go-to, but I almost never use it. Transmit, I'm going to put this in... B tier. I think it is the best FTP app for the Mac, but there's every once in a while it'll do like these weird connection issues that it can't explain, and I can't explain, and it's a little funky, but good UI, works great, like the people over there, and so yeah, I'll put it in B tier. Ulysses is a very good app. I'm going to put it in... I'll put it in A tier. I think this is a really great app. I use it less these days now that I've kind of gotten my blog writing into Obsidian, but a very good app if you're publishing to WordPress or Ghost. Veija, V-E-I-J-A, I think is what this is called. This is a really cool app. I'm going to put it in A tier. This is an app that is technically a web browser, but it isn't a web browser. It's a web browser router. So if you find yourself opening links and you want them to open in different browsers, this app lets you do that. So for example, if you always want your YouTube links to open in Safari and your social media links to always open in Helium, you can do that. You can set a rule that says if this URL is opened, send it to this browser. If this app opens something, like let's say you have like your personal stuff and then your work stuff, and your work stuff's all in one browser, if you're in Slack, which is your work, you can have every link that is opened from Slack open in your work browser. So yeah, that's kind of what it does. I like it quite a bit. Visual Studio Code, I'm going to put it in B tier. I don't use it a ton, but it is, I think it's better than people give it credit for. I think it's, quite good. Vivaldi, I'm going to put this in, B tier. I think Vivaldi is a great app if you want customization in your web browser. It has all the customizations you can think of. It has more than any browser I've ever seen. I just find it a little unpleasant to use at times for whatever reason. It just doesn't feel quite right for me. So, but very, very good, very powerful. It's been my default browser. Before I was an Arc sicko, I was a Vivaldi sicko. And we have 3 apps left. We have Windsurf, which I'm going to put in D because I should just uninstall this. I haven't used Windsurf in forever. They were kind of Aqua hired, and I don't know what's going on over there anymore. So I'm going to put it in D tier. I should just get rid of it. Zed, I'm putting this in A tier. Zed is a very fast text editor that is in this vein of Visual Studio Code and Nova, but it's my default because it's quick. It has a lot of plugins, and it is just... it's just very nice to use. It works how I want a text editor to work. And then we have Zen. Zen, I'm going to put in A tier as well. Zen is an awesome browser in the style of Arc, but what if they kept maintaining that? And what if it was built on Firefox as a base rather than Chromium? I think the big issue I have with it is just the Firefox base. The Firefox engine is just not as good as the Chromium one, and it's just annoying when a website doesn't load how you want it to. So yeah, I kind of bounce back between that and Helium as my default browser, but right, I'm on Helium at the moment. So yeah, there we go. That's my list. That's my tier list for the apps. Basically, these guys I could probably uninstall right now and be okay. These guys, which were all blue icons, and then we got a purple and red and multicolor and brown. So we got a little variability there eventually. But yeah, this is the tier list of the stuff that's on my Mac. I also have a few other apps, but these are the ones I thought would be interesting to talk about today. And that's it. We did it under 30 minutes. Good for us. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you here next time. Bye-bye.